Hello traders, welcome to the recap for the 18th of December. Realize I haven't been putting out these YouTube recaps quite as often as I was in the past, but I'm going to be trying to put out more, especially in the new year once the markets really start going again, because as you've probably noticed over the past week or so, things have really tightened up. There's very little order flow, we've had some very tight ranges, not a lot of movement. And so I've been very conservative in my approach, telling elite range bar traders to basically do the same thing. You know, you don't want to be too aggressive when the markets aren't moving that well, both in terms of your entries and in terms of your trade management and your exits. And so I've been conservative in both points. A day like today, I didn't even trade New York because New York has been extremely slow. You know, if we look back previous days, it's basically just been chopping around in these tight ranges. There's been very little movement overall. So I took New York off. I only traded the European morning and basically only had a couple trades. And the first one I took was just prior to London Open in here. And I was looking for hopefully a fairly strong break. Unfortunately, it held at these Asia lows that we had all through early Tokyo in here where these lows were holding, and we bounced off quite strongly. Now, normally I might look for a second leg into that area, see if it would break. But because of some other factors I saw in the M5 and some other things that we use in the elite range bar system, I did bail on that trade quite quickly just for 2-pip loss. It looked like it was actually going to be a bad decision as price came back down, but it did hold again, formed a great pattern for us, and I was able to get a long here on a type 2 DB. And the timing for that was great for those type 2s. That's exactly the sort of timing that we look for. And I was looking for these highs up in here, looking for resistance. We consolidated a little bit before that, and so I started to have an expectation that we might actually break that once we broke through this consolidation. So I moved my stop just below another consolidation that occurred at the level, and we did continue moving up. And once things had actually turned over, once the momentum had turned, I took my 20 pips on that. So it was something where I was essentially willing to give up 6-7 pips on this to see if we would end up doing that extra leg, see if we would get an extra 10 or 15 pips on the trade. And to me, that was definitely worth it in terms of the risk reward. And these were a couple trades that I just mentioned for elite range bar traders that I didn't take. It was during a time that I don't usually trade in the London lunch. And then there was the potential to take a breakout opportunity. It was more of an advanced type of trade because of the consolidation, the wedge that was forming. But there were opportunities to get in once we got into the very, very tight part of the wedge. And I wasn't around to potentially trade that. I would like to think I would have taken it if I had been at the charts, but hard to say. Everything looks a little bit more obvious, you know, after the fact, but I did want to point out that as a potential opportunity that an aggressive trader could take. Again, probably not the best idea to be aggressive at this time of year, and even in the, you know, for the rest of this week, even after Christmas, we're probably going to see a few days there where we might see a little bit of markets that can be traded, but probably nothing that's, you know, optimal. We're not going to see some big runners most likely unless thin markets just blow through some stop levels. But once we get past the new year, in a fresh week there, it should start opening up again. We should start seeing a lot better trading opportunities. So if you want to know more about the elite range bar system that we use, you can check out our website at www.samuraiforextrading.com. All right, thanks guys. Bye.